Hey guys, this is Anthony Ace Michael. Just wanted to inform you guys I will be working with the Sports Pick portal. They had signed me to a deal for this NFL season. Um, Hopefully I helped everybody out last season with my picks and my free picks. But let's just kind of just get right into week one. Skipping the preseason just for the fact that it's hit or miss and only degenerate gamblers bet on the preseason unless you have some kind of angle you use. I know some of these professionals, they follow players and follow systems, and preseason is their bread and butter. That's just not the way I look at it. Let's look into the first game. The Chicago Bears. As a guy from Chicago, you know that I probably will be picking the Bears, but you can't let your heart, you know, go past your mind and make you pick the wrong way. So not really going to break down this segment here is just going to be about the picks that I like. They are detailed. They are, I broke them down for weeks, and right now I know there's not going to be any more injuries because week 3 is in the books. No Andrew Luck, so that game be a little bit different, but all the rest of the games I picked a month ago, and I went through each game, each roster, and I tried to figure out what players were going to be playing. I made adjustments as we go along. Now they're in preseason week 4, so that will be starting tomorrow. But the first game is the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. Looking at this game, it's going to be a tough game. It's in the Windy City, Soldiers Field. I will be at the game, and I will be cheering on my Bears. But if you look at this game, and you remember last year, Green Bay, Bears had a big lead in this game, and there are a few little changes here and there for the Green Bay Packers, and for the Bears, not so much. Defensive coach, that's about it. So they're going to have the same schemes. Now it's going to be a close game. The Bears went out to that big lead, like I said last year, and they lost it at the end. This year will be a little bit different. I do think that the Packers might get the early lead, and if they do, expect at 3 points, Bears -3. To come into play here. If you could get that Green Bay Packers game at 3.5, I would jump all over it. Close game, like I say a million times, and in those games you always look for the hook. And if you could shop around and look at your sports books, maybe wait the day before, but a lot of those Green Bay Packer bettors might be coming aboard. So this game, I'm not sure which way the point spread will favor, but I do think that, like I say, if you can get the 3.5, take the Packers. I say the Bears win the game by 3. Jump into Sunday real quick, September 8th. The Rams at the Panthers. Usually, I've been following this for a long time, and for the most part, the team that makes the Super Bowl and loses the Super Bowl the previous year doesn't do as well, and for the most part doesn't even make the playoffs. And I know Carolina Panthers, they say that Cam Newton is looking great, like always. He's usually great at the beginning, and he starts getting hurt in the middle and to the end of the season. So that being said, this is going to be a key game for him, and he has this already on his calendar as the top game. I would take the Carolina Panthers +3 at home. So home dog for the Carolina Panthers. They should win this game, and if they don't, I can't see them not winning this game. But if they don't, they should cover the point spread. The Tennessee Titans at the Cleveland Browns. This game could go either way. I know a lot of people are on the Cleveland Browns here just for the simple fact of all the pickups that they have made, and they are in the highlight for the first time. in a long time. But they are the Cleveland Browns, and they are minus 5.5 at home. And Mariota's looking good, and I know that Delaney Walker is back, and in 100%, he is another year older. I expect this to be another close game. These first three games are going to be close. So I am going to take the Tennessee Titans plus 5.5. If you wait on this one, I kind of figure the point spread will jump in the Cleveland Browns' favor, so it could go to 6, 6.5, 7. Definitely take the Tennessee Titans if you're getting 7 anywhere near kickoff, because that to me seems like it's going to be a money factor, and that would probably be one of my top plays of the week. The Kansas City Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chiefs probably favored to win the Super Bowl, I would think. I've seen the odds, and just because of the odds doesn't mean that, they're the best team. But they are, the highlight reel, and you're going to be watching them on ESPN every Monday morning. The Jacksonville Jaguars are healthy, are better, and if this defense could get back to they were 2 years ago, they're going to be really hard to beat. It's going to be one of those, 16, 17 games or 13, 12 games. I don't expect this game to be a shootout, and I do not expect this game, for fantasy purposes with Mahomes. Don't put your head down if you see that he threw one touchdown. This game should be close, but like an old dog told me, rest in peace. Anytime you get a home dog +4, there's just something with that +4 number at home is in their favor. So I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars +4, and I think it's going to be another close game. So the first 4 games are going to be close according to my predictions. The Baltimore Ravens at the Miami Dolphins. This game here is a little tricky. The Ravens are -5 on the road, which is very strange. They are a little bit better this year. The Dolphins apparently are a little bit worse than last year, but I usually throw last year and the year before that and the year before that. This is a new year, a new slate. If you want to handicap games yourself, don't even look at what they did last year. Try to focus on what they're going to do this year. And look at the improvements they've made. And if they didn't make any improvements, look at the coaching staff, see what they did differently, because every team tries to get better. Unfortunately, they don't. But the Baltimore Ravens -5 here could be the play. Miami is just not looking too good this year, preseason-wise, and just they're the Miami Dolphins. They need to get back to that, Dan Marino age, and this is another rebuilding year, I would say. So the Baltimore Ravens defense is top 5, I would say, and it's going to be hard for Miami to score here. So Baltimore win, I would say, by double digits. The Atlanta Falcons at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are -4 here at home. Atlanta, another team that is either hit or miss. They usually perform well when they're not supposed to, and against the good teams, it is a shootout a lot of times that they lose. So I would think that the Minnesota Vikings at home with that home defense have something to prove here. They want to show that they're still, in tension for that division title, and very so well, I think they are. So, I would take here, after tons of research on this game, they always say go with, when in doubt and you think it's going to be a close game, go with the underdog here. You're going to get 4 points, but I just can't. Minnesota should win this game. -4, I like it. The Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. The Jets are -3. Couple key players here added to the squad. Buffalo, is one of these teams that shows up when they're not supposed to, and this is a nice rivalry game. So, not a lot of thought into this game. I think that the Buffalo Bills will cover, get the +3. Kickoff, 3.5, 4 should do the trick. The Washington Redskins at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are -8.5. That's a lot for an opening day, week 1 game. It's not the highest on the board, but it is awful high for a division game. This game here is tricky at the 8.5. 6.5 it would lean Eagles. 8.5 you lean Redskins. I know that the Eagles defense is there. I know their offense is there. The Redskins are supposed to be finishing last in that division. Anytime in that division, it's one of these things that, whoever finishes last the year before, I know I say don't look at the year before, but it's just a trend that it's one of those trends that the team that finishes last usually finishes first, even though they didn't finish last. They do improve usually the next year. Tricky game. On my paper here, I do have the Eagles, but I am going to take the Washington Redskins +8.5. Don't bet this game if you don't have to. I go through these games just for my predictions. Doesn't mean I would bet them with my own money, and you shouldn't either. But in this game, the over, is a big play here at 45.5. I think it's going to go well over that. I know it seems high for an early week 1, but 45.5 should get you the money. The Colts at the Chargers. This line has changed dramatically. The Chargers are -7. There's no reason why the Chargers shouldn't win this game. Andrew Luck was ready. They were ready for him. They had the scheme. They had the plan. Now they have, a week and a half, 2 weeks to figure out a plan against the Chargers at home. No way it's going to happen. This is another lock of the week. For me, I think the Chargers -7. You lock on them right away. Some books still have them at 6.5. Try to stay away from that 7.5. We always try to stay away from that hook that includes a touchdown, because I've seen way too many times in way too many years. I've been doing this for over 20 years now, and I see that hook come into play at the last second. Who cares? Touchdown, and you're out of the money. Cincinnati Bengals at Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are -9.5. Wow, is that a lot? That's a lot of points. It's a game that I would not bet. It seems to me that the bookies are trying to get you to lean towards the Bengals, and when that happens, you usually take the team that's not in your favor. So they're trying to put the Bengals in your favor at getting 9.5. You might even see 10. I would take Seattle if I had to bet this game. I just think that the Bengals are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league. Andy Dalton has not figured it out, and he will not figure it out. Joe Mixon is their only bright spot. Their receiving core is a little banged up. So there's really not much going on here. Seattle knows that they're going to run, and Seattle could stop the run. It's going to be hard. There should be a lot of interceptions thrown here. So let's go with the Seattle Seahawks -9.5. And if you have to bet it, lock it in now. The Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals. Detroit is -2.5. Detroit is -2.5, but Arizona is at home and it's a home dog. These are two bottom of the barrel teams in my perspective, and anytime you could get points at home against a team that's probably the worst in their division, you have to throw all the stats out the window, throw all the players out the window, throw all the matchups out the window. But anytime you can get an Arizona team that is not that good, but does have an elite running back, probably top 5 in the league, and he's got something to prove this year, and you're going against the Detroit Lions team that's going to finish last in their division, and Detroit is minus 2.5. This is a no-brainer here. The Arizona Cardinals plus 2.5. Jump on it right away. Here's another interesting game. The Giants at the Cowboys, another division rivalry matchup to start out the week. It's a tough game. You know, it's one of those afternoon games that are going to be on TV, national TV probably. But the Cowboys minus 7.5. Not sure what they're going to do, you know, with Zeke. I know if it was Emmitt Smith, I would be betting the Dallas Cowboys. But Zeke probably is not going to play this game, and that's going to hurt him. So I would take the points. I would maybe even, I know that the Giants are predicted to finish last this year, but they do have the best running back in the league. And that being said, anytime you have someone like that on your team, you can win the game. So I would probably go with the money line here. I don't have the money line yet. It's not up, but Dallas is minus 7, so that's telling me the money line is like plus 235, maybe 220 on the Giants. So anytime you can get that 2-to-1 edge on a rivalry game when their star player is not playing, I would also take the over at 45.5. Both of these are set at 45.5 for this division. The Redskins and the Eagles, and the Giants and the Cowboys. I just think that this is another game that when these teams play each other, these four teams, they always seem to put up high totals. And I you know, like I say, years of watching these games, it's like a 30-something, 20-something game. That's 50, well over the 45.5. I think that the play here is the money line on the Giants and the over. That would be a nice parlay too, you know, just throw a little bit of cash out there and see what happens. So we got the 49ers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tampa Bay is minus 1 here at home. Something to prove. Not a great season. Terrific quarterback. But we have to remember that Garoppolo is coming back for the 49ers. He did look good in the preseason game. I expect him to be sharp. I expect him to prove something here. I would take the 49ers. I put a Super Bowl ticket in on the 49ers. I know it sounds crazy, but you know, when you have someone like this coming back, maybe a year or two, they are going to be a major contender. But I'm going to take the odds here and put in the Super Bowl ticket. And I think the 49ers are going to do well. I think they're going to win about 9 or 10 games, make the playoffs. I know it sounds crazy, but I think the Rams are in a down year. Definitely the Saints are in a down year. Breeze another year older. So, you know, that being said, I think that 49ers have a great chance to win that division. And if they make the playoffs, you know, anything could happen in the NFL. So if I'm picking that many wins, they have to win this game. So I think that the 49ers plus 1 should take it. Here's the game of the week. The Steelers on a Sunday night against the Patriots in New England. Crazy game. You know, New England at home, you know, they're going to be tough. You know, they're always tough at home. But if there's one team that could beat them, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that, you know, plus 6 here is anytime you get points in a game like this, you usually take the points in, you know, in my perspective of always betting on these games, especially this matchup. The Steelers usually give them all they can handle, and New England always finds a way to pull it out at the end. But if you're getting 6, not 3 or 2 or 4, 6 is, and if you could buy it up to 7 or find a plus 7 with the Steelers, I think that's great value. The over here is 51. Might not come into play. It looks like an underplay as teams are just getting, you know, situated. But if Brady's going to be sharp, it's going to be at the beginning of the season. I think that he could wear down a little bit. The offensive line is another year older. He's another year older. Uh, you know, it could only hold up for so long, but it is Tom Brady. He's not one of my favorites, but he is one of the best in the game. So I would take the Steelers here, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots, win this game by double digits. But anytime I get points, I jump on it in a game like this. There's two Monday night games, the Houston Texans and the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans is minus 7 points. At home, it's going to be very tough. Drew Brees is going to be sharp at the beginning of the season. They have an elite running back, an elite receiver. They mesh well together. Houston, great young quarterback. I expect them to improve, and I know that Houston, not banged up, defense is pretty awesome. Could they stop the Saints? It's going to be very hard to stop the Saints this early in the season at home. I think that they're going to fail towards the end of the season and maybe miss the playoffs. But minus 7 is too, juicy for me. Look at the over here at 53. This game is a toss-up in my eyes. 53 over. I think that it'll be a shootout. In that case, the shootout, you always take the team that's getting the points again. I am an underdog guy, but when favorites are due to play, I do play them. But the Texans plus 7 and over 53. Coming to the last game on the Monday night, it's the Denver Broncos at the Oakland Raiders, and it's a pick. So all these guys that didn't do well in week 1, and there will be more than 50% of this population that gambling. And now that, they're not just in Vegas, and they will be coming to Chicago, and our neighbor Indiana is getting it sports betting September 1st. I know Iowa's got it going. I know that there's a lot of other states out there on the East Coast that have sports betting going. So there's going to be a lot more sports betting. But still, there's going to be way over 50% that are losing money every week. So this is going to be the game to get you even for the week. And I'm going to do my best to do it. Hopefully you listen to some of those other picks. But the Denver Broncos at the Oakland Raiders. Tough game here. I'm a big Raiders fan. Denver Broncos, both of these teams are not going to do very well. I do expect the Raiders to do something at home, considering, this could be their Super Bowl game. I know they have that game against the Chicago Bears in London in Week 7, and it's going to be a big game for them. I think Gruden's going to pull out all his tricks here, and I do think that, he's going to do whatever it takes to win this game. Not that coaches don't do whatever they can to win a game. I just don't have much to say about the Denver Broncos and their team. Mediocre defense, mediocre offense. Yeah, the Raiders are not that good either. But I do think that key additions will help this team win. And, it's up to Carr to win or lose it. And I think he'll do something special in front of his fans and win this game. So to recap real quick, Packers first game plus 3.5 if you could get it. Carolina Panthers plus 3. I really like that one. And there's a few other ones, but we're going to just focus on the overs in the Redskins and Eagles and the Giants and Cowboys. And especially the Arizona Cardinals is my pick of the week, plus 2.5 at home against the Lions. So this is Anthony Ace Michael. I'm signing off with sports picks and anything else that you need. You can follow us at sportspickportal.com. Any questions there, you could contact us. There will be a top play on there. We do have a special running on there now, so go on there, check it out. see what you think, and you know, we'll maybe try to give these week 1 picks every week, you know, for all the weeks, but we can't be giving everything out free. But we just want to get you on the right track, and hopefully you win. This is Anthony signing off. Thanks, guys.